It is con season again, and Origins is happening less than a week from now.
Absolutely.
Gen Con feels like it's right on top of that as well.
Yeah, it never stops.
I don't know if it's just because we're getting older, but the distance between June and August doesn't seem like anything anymore.
I think it's stayed the same, though.
I think it is.
I think
I'm
it's
pretty
always
sure.
the same amount of...
I haven't checked lately. But back in the day, I felt like Origins, there was a big preview list, and there was Origin releases, and then Gen Con felt like it was a while later, but it really, it's like 2 months.
Yeah, that's a whole other topic. I feel like all these cons now...
The passage of time?
The passage of time, but also just like the way things come out. Like Origins used to be like, for people that didn't want to premiere at Gen Con, they'd have big Origins releases, and we still have a few big Origins releases that we're excited about this year. Some, but I think it's just different. We have games coming out direct to consumers now at a level that we've never seen before. I think less people are reliant on going to cons to see the next biggest thing. But that being said, there are still always a lot of big games, and we'll talk about some today from Origins. We'll talk about some later down the line from Gen Con, maybe even PAX, because PAX is a big release con.
And Essen, of course.
And Essen is a huge one. So they're kind of being more spread out, I think, throughout the year.
Well, PAX will be here before we know it. It's at the end of the year.
I know.
But let's focus on Origins today. We're going to talk about 6 games that we know that are on the Origins preview list that we're particularly excited about, or things that I think you might want to take a look at if you hadn't seen them already. To follow up what Ryan was just saying, the list is smaller than it has been in the past, the preview list. They're not doing as many premieres there. I think Origins as a trade show has probably struggled a little
with the pandemic and everything.
With the pandemic, post-pandemic. But conventions are always just fun to go to.
For sure. And these games should all be, most of these games at least, are going to be for sale.
I believe so.
Origins. We've
confirmed as many of those as possible, but the preview list had MSRPs listed instead of demo, so they should be available.
And there's some that we know that are coming out later. Anyway, let's just jump right into it, because the first one I wanted to talk about is Charcuterie. And this is one that and I think a lot of people have been looking forward to, just because of the theme and the way this game looks. It looks amazing. This is from 3WS, and it's a kind of an I pick, you choose, or I split, you choose kind of game where you're building this charcuterie board. And it is kind of a filler game, and it's perfect, I think, for what it wants to do, which is kind of be the introductory game for your game night. Just everyone gets there, and you're like, let's play charcuterie. Let's have a snack. Let's eat, drink, be social, and play this semi-light, little, almost like a spatial puzzle game where you're building out your charcuterie board. But yeah, it does have a lot of depth in the gameplay as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of meat to it.
A lot of meat to it. And cheese.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
No, this is a nice, light little game. I think also the whole, charcuterie boards have been around for a long time.
Well, they're super popular.
But they've grown in popularity over, I'd say, the last decade. Everyone seems to be doing it at their party.
And my sister maybe I can get her permission to put one up, but she does these now. And she goes online, and there's like techniques for how to like make the different things. It's a whole like culture.
Flower-shaped salami and stuff like that.
Exactly. Like there's techniques for how to do all these things. And so
it's just going in your stomach. Who cares?
And we've talked about this game before, and I think one of the big reasons I'm excited about it is because it's a game for people like me and David. It's for me, who can just like try to maximize my points, and it's for David because
I don't care.
Just try to build a really, really pretty
I like
board.
thinking of meats and cheeses.
Yeah, you build up the most prettiest board, and ultimately that's the winner.
How many people will be playing this game and eating it?
I hope a lot.
I'm pretty sure it's going to happen a lot. The next game we want to talk about is definitely not a light game. It's a heavier game. This is sort of a medium plus weight Euro called From the Moon.
Yeah.
We had a chance to actually preview this game some time ago on the channel.
A while ago, back when it was first on crowdfunding.
But with a name like From the Moon, it is not science fiction, but it's a outer space themed worker placement game where you actually have these little lunar landers, these like little four-wheeled vehicles, and you're putting your workers in there, and the worker placement is built off of like building these little things, because depending on what workers you put in there, I think they're blue, gray, and black.
Blue, gray, and black, yeah.
You put different colored workers in there, that allows you to maybe pick up the different resources that might be at various locations, which is, if memory serves me correctly, pretty variable in terms of that, at least what resources come out.
Dropping these cubes out, onto the moon board.
And then each of those locations also has a worker placement spot. There's quite a bit more to it than that, but that is all driving the core of the game, which also felt to me, I remember it feeling not like a race game, but we were
a little bit
triggering things as soon as we launched our ship or something.
Yeah,
like
I mean,
that.
there's a little bit of a race element to it, especially to the board, because there's a limited resources.
Yeah.
So you're using those resources to improve your base, complete objectives, do, like David said, a bunch of other stuff. But that's the part that I think we found the coolest and the most unique.
Yeah, it was really cool. Really cool components too. So take a look for that.
Yeah, and there's another worker placement game getting an expansion. This is Honey Buzz Fall Flavors, and this is a modular expansion. I think it includes
Five
different
modules that you can mix and match. They're all season based. There's like fall and
there's like
summer.
There's like a harvest festival one. There's a summer one. There's the autumn leaves where you can collect leaves. There's like the fruit market where you can collect fruit for additional points instead of collecting honey. There's one that lets you cap off your hive with like different like toppers.
Yeah.
Basically, it seems like there's a lot of really cool ideas here. And you could, like David said, you could mix and match them. I mean, I'm pretty sure it seems like we haven't read the rules yet. It seems like you could just pick and choose a couple even.
Yeah.
Because they don't really.
I'm assuming you
take the
could
same
just
space.
use one at a time or use them all if you're a crazy person. Like,
Which, it might be
a lot
fun
of people want to do that. A lot of people
Yeah,
let's
one
do
time.
all the things. I'm sure I'll probably find a couple of them that are like those are the ones you got to play with now.
And this is another one though that we did live stream, so you can look back way back when Honey Buzz first came out. So that's an older one.
It was 1 million years ago. But
it was a
again, I'm
million
having
years
trouble
ago.
with the passage of time.
On there is one. The thing that I think drew us to this game originally was just how gorgeous it looked, and that production value seems like it's carried through all the expansions. The shots that we've seen of this one look absolutely beautiful as well.
Yeah, the next one we want to talk about, we've also covered on the channel.
Yeah.
We had a chance to play it with Jeremy when he was here. I think he did the preview for it. Mistwind. This is here's what I'll say. It's a pick up and deliver that I actually like. Like, I don't like a lot of pick up and delivers. I think a lot of people fall into that category where they're like, pick up and deliver. But then there's some ones that are like, oh, interesting. The interesting thing about this is the action selection that you're using. Well, first of all, the really interesting thing is it's really cool because there's flying whales.
Yeah, the theme is one of those ones that just the cover grabs you and you're like, oh, there's like a flying whale on the cover and some guy's riding it and you're like, I'm in.
Yeah, the box paints the picture of a world that you're like, okay, let's check this out.
Very much like when you see Scythe for the first time and you're like, okay, I want to play in that world.
Exactly. And incidentally, I think if I remember correctly, it started out as a different theme. It was just airships and stuff. And then they
cruise
changed.
Ships.
Cruise ships.
Yeah, which this is a way more exciting thing.
Good
to
addition.
be honest.
Flying whales, cruise ships, flying whales.
I played it back when it was cruise ships and I thought it was really good, but the flying whales make that's a cool, and that whole like whale punk almost world of like or oil punk if you want to call it that, where like, but except the whales fly.
Did you say whale punk?
Yeah, it's like
is that a new thing? Did you just coin?
Yeah, like Dishonored. No, that's not something I coined. That's been around. But yeah, that whole like oil-based society thing. You're transporting resources, whatever. It's a cool theme.
But the action selection is really interesting because of these numbered discs, and around the sides of the board there are various actions. And if you use your 3-disc, or everyone else at the table knows, you don't have your 3-disc anymore. So the other spots on the other sides of the boards that have the 3 spot, you're not taking that. So they can kind of go, oh, I wanted that spot, you've used your 3, so now I can do something else because I know you're not taking that spot. That's the part that made it the most interesting, I think.
For sure. I think that was fun.
What that's driving is a pick up and deliver, with what you'd expect, but maybe a little bit more. But it was the action selection that I thought was really cool.
For me, and then the network building on the board to like move around faster by building like a network that lets you speed around was really.
But again, that falls into pick up and deliver.
It does. It did a lot of cool things. All right, the next one is another one I think that we even live streamed.
Well, not this one in particular.
Not this one in particular. This is World Wonders Mundo. This is the new expansion for World Wonders, which was a huge hit game. Gen Con last year, I think, is when it came out. It sold out like immediately.
Oh, it was. I think it was Gen Con, and it did sell out really quickly. This game, this is a delightful game, and I think it should really find a place long term. This is a game that everyone should be playing and everyone should be talking about. I'm surprised. Like this is a no-brainer expansion. You give me more for World Wonders, I'm gonna get more for World Wonders. It's
9 more wonders. Really, that's what it boils down to.
9
more wonders that all do unique things.
And a game mode.
And a new game mode.
I don't know anything about the game mode.
We don't know a lot about the game. We know a little bit about the game mode. Is that it introduces some new scoring cards. That's what they've said. It introduces some new ways to score points, basically. We haven't seen those new cards, or all we've seen are pictures of the individual wonders themselves.
Yeah.
But we know that those wonders can be played on either mode. You could use the
it does
basic
come with
rules or the advanced
It comes
rules.
with cards for those wonders,
Yeah.
so you can use it in the normal version of the game too. But they were built along with this modular mode specifically so that it kind of introduces
some new
concepts.
scoring mechanic. I mean,
And
I'm
it's
interested
probably,
to see
I don't know what
that is.
the MSRP is on any of these, but my guess is that this is on the low end.
Yeah, probably.
You know, it's an expansion. The last one we want to talk about, again, we've also covered this on the channel. We didn't do that on purpose, by the way. But Dabbawala, which just
That's amazing to me that this
basically
is coming
ran.
out at Origins.
Now, I do know that they ran their Kickstarter because I think they're in the habit now of running some Kickstarters just to kick off things. But they got this, they had fast-tracked the production of this game even when the Kickstarter was running because they wanted this thing to be sort of in the mix for Spiel conversations and things like that. But Dabbawala is a tile placement game based on a really interesting theme of food delivery service in Mumbai, where they take food from everyday families and deliver that to people in these big canisters. The game itself, you're doing that thematically by stacking up these tiles that represent all those canisters that these people would be carrying around either on their backs or in carts or with bicycles, and scoring for those with an interesting phase where the first phase of the game, it's like a game of two halves. The first half, you're just moving around collecting cards, playing tiles. Second half, you flip over that board and then you're scoring those, and everyone can kind of manipulate the economy or market for the value of those tiles. And that's the game. It's very simple, very easy. There's a few little extras in there to make it a little more interesting every time you play. And the other really cool thing about this thing, we don't talk about environmentally friendly games often on the channel or like that concept, but obviously more and more publishers are doing that. One of the cool things that's really stand out about this is the boards, the game board themselves come in 3 pieces. Those pieces, or 2 of them at least, are lids for the little trays full of tokens. It makes it a joy to put out on the table, but even a bigger joy to put away because as you're scoring, you take the layers of tiles off your topmost layer, and everyone, when you do that, you just put them back in those trays as you're scoring, and then by the time you're done scoring, it's put away. It's pretty much put away. You just put those lids on, put it back in the box, and you're good to go. That
is smart.
Is the perfect game for the end of a night.
I think this is one for sure that when you see it out, I'm sure they'll have it available to look at. Like I'm sure they'll have demos of it out.
They're selling it.
No, I know. I just mean demo it if you get a chance at their booth. And I think that a lot of people that demo it, it's an easy sell.
Yeah, it's a fun little light tile laying game with some interesting twists. But those are 6 of the games that are going to be at Origins. There's going to be a lot more. BGG says there's going to be about 149 total.
Yeah, but so it's not. They're not all new. Just I think a lot of them are new from Origins. So like if you're the kind of person that like Origins is where you go and that's where you buy your games and you do that every year, there will be a lot of games new to you there as well that we're not talking about.
And at the end of the day, it's still a convention.
For sure.
I mean, we're going to be there a few days. Come hang out with us, play some games. Go over to the second floor of the Hampton. That's the cool spot to hang out.
Don't ruin our don't spoil our secret hiding spot. But that is where you'll be able to find us.
I'll blurt that out in the video so no one rushes the Hampton. Anyway, if you have any questions about Origins or if you thought, oh, God, why didn't you guys talk about this game? That's my most anticipated game from Origins. Let us know in the comments below. Until next time, or until we see you at Origins, make sure everyone has fun at the table, and we'll see you then.